Your band don't know that song, do they? No, don't you play a note of it. We're gonna play Party all the time.
You would think celebrities would be pretty difficult to surprise. They spend their lives meeting famous people and walking into rooms where almost anything can happen. But Michael Jackson was different. Sometimes another celebrity would hear his voice and assume it had to be a prank. Sometimes Michael would suddenly appear where nobody knew he was coming, which left them with absolutely no idea how to respond.
I have a big surprise for you. I want to introduce to you the King of Pop. He's here now! Here you are!
Michael Jackson, as if you didn't know.
James Brown was being honored at the 2003 BET Awards, but nobody had told him who was about to join him on stage. In the middle of the tribute, Michael Jackson suddenly walked out, sending the entire room into an uproar. And Michael had another surprise waiting. During James's performance, he stepped into the famous cape routine himself, placing the cape over the shoulders of one of his biggest musical influences. James was supposed to be the one receiving the tribute, but Michael's unexpected appearance became a surprise for James himself.
Michael Jackson, ladies and gentlemen! Michael Jackson!
Will Smith had imagined meeting Michael Jackson for years, but there was no way he could have imagined it happening like this. During the chaos at an event, security suddenly moved Will away from everyone and put him inside a tiny utility closet. He was standing there completely confused when the door opened again. This time, Michael Jackson walked through it. Out of all the places Will could have finally met Michael, somehow their first conversation happened with just the two of them squeezed inside a closet.
I'm hearing screaming and all of that stuff. I'm listening, and all of a sudden, it starts to get quiet. And I'm like, yo. And I hear, hey, where goes? And I turn around, and Michael Jackson is behind me in the closet. I was like, oh. It's like, hey, how you doing? Oh, what? Hey, what's up, man? What do you think's going on out there? Suge and them tripping. Suge's always tripping. All that success, and he can't figure out how to be happy. So I got Michael Jackson, like captive audience, all to myself. I'm like, all the questions I could have asked, everything I could have said. What's the glove made out of? What's Tito like? Can you moonwalk forward? Is Annie okay? All that stuff.
Britney Spears was already one of the biggest stars in the world when Michael managed to completely catch her off guard with a simple phone call when her personal phone rang and the man on the other end introduced himself as Michael. Britney didn't immediately think of Michael Jackson. In fact, even after he explained who he was, she kept questioning whether it was really him. The idea that Michael Jackson had personally picked up the phone and called her was apparently so unexpected that Britney needed some convincing before she could actually believe it.
And was it like your phone, did your own personal phone ring and you
yes,
went,
it
hello?
did. Yes, it did. And I was like, hello? And I was like, hi, can I speak to Britney? I was like, this is her. Hi, this is Michael. I was like, Michael who? Michael Jackson? I was like, who is this? Who is this? I was such a dork. But it was him.
He called me. He was like, hello? He was like, can I speak to Britney, please? And I was like, who is this? And he goes, who is this? And he goes, this is Michael Jackson. And I was like, no, this is not. He's like, who is this? I was like, who is? I mean, like, Michael Jackson calling your phone just in the middle of the day. Okay. And I was like, who is this? And he's like, it's Michael Jackson. And I was like, so finally I was like, really? This is really him? This is really him? She's like, I don't know. I was like, oh, okay, well, how are you? And he started talking to me more, and I realized it was him. But it was, I'll never forget that moment, ever. That's one of those moments that are just always stay in my head.
I didn't really realize what had happened until I got off the stage. And I was like, I just performed with Michael Jackson, man. It was just really an amazing experience for me because The Way You Make Me Feel, that's the song that I performed with him. It's one of my all-time favorite songs. So it was awesome. It was really, really amazing. I was very honored that he wanted to do this song with me.
Spike Lee's surprise started with a phone call he refused to believe was real. A man with an unusually deep voice called claiming to be Michael Jackson, and Spike immediately assumed one of his friends was messing with him, so he hung up. Michael tried again. Spike hung up again. By the third call, Michael finally had to convince him that he really was Michael Jackson. Apparently, Michael sometimes used a much deeper voice over the phone, and in this case, it almost stopped him from getting through at all.
Out of nowhere, Michael Jackson calls me. Pick up the phone. I said, hello? Hello? Who is this? This is Michael. I hung up the phone. Michael calls again. Who is this? It's Michael Jackson. Spike. I hung up the phone. The third time. See, this is with Mike. Spike, this is Michael Jackson. Don't, see, he used to do that. He had a deep voice, and he would use it when one of us get out of line.
Magic Johnson made almost the exact same mistake. His phone rang, the person on the other end said he was Michael Jackson, and Magic immediately decided it had to be somebody playing around. He hung up without giving it much thought. Then Jackie Jackson told him the call had actually been real. Suddenly, Magic realized he had just hung up on Michael Jackson and now had to call him back and explain why he thought his hero was a prank caller.
I was the biggest Jackson 5 than Michael Jackson fan, so I get a call. Magic,
I did not see the voice
I
coming.
want to talk to you. So I hung the phone. So the phone rang 2 minutes later.
This is funny.
Magic, this is Michael Jackson. I said, this is not Michael Jackson. So I hung the phone up again. I knew Jackie Jackson very well, his brother. So his brother called me and said, Magic, that was really Michael calling you. No! No!
Beyoncé's reaction was impossible to hide because it happened right in the middle of her performance. She was singing normally until she looked toward the side of the stage and suddenly saw Michael standing there watching her. Beyoncé immediately forgot about her part and started screaming. The audience couldn't see what she was looking at, so all they saw was Beyoncé suddenly losing it during the song. But once you know Michael had appeared beside the stage, her reaction makes perfect sense.
I recently got a chance to meet him. We were doing a show for him, and he was sitting on the side of the stage, and it was time for me to sing my part. But I looked to the right, and he was right there. I couldn't sing. I had to start screaming. And I did, right on the stage. And I know the fans, because they couldn't see him. They thought I was crazy, because I was like walking up to do my part, and then I went like, ah! Just right on the stage. And I couldn't hold it, like I couldn't take it.
Eddie Murphy's encounter with Michael happened somewhere he definitely wasn't looking for him. Eddie was at one of Sammy Davis Jr.'s movie nights, surrounded by plenty of famous faces. But Michael wasn't exactly socializing with everyone else. Eddie found him hiding behind a door because there were too many people in the room. So instead of some big Hollywood introduction, Eddie's first real moment with Michael ended up being the two of them standing away from everybody else behind a door.
And you would go there and all the stars, like I saw Steve and Edie Gourmet, Lucille Ball, and Michael would be there,
Michael Jackson. Okay, I don't know. I thought Jordan for a second, and I was like, oh no, maybe Michael Jackson would be there. He watched Cocoon there?
He was behind the door at first because there was too many people. There's too many people in the room. He was hiding behind the door. I said, Eddie, come. And I went behind the door, and then we would stand behind the door, and I was like, what the There's so many people in there.
Michael could catch celebrities off guard without even trying, and Eddie Murphy was already sitting with Arsenio Hall when suddenly the audience went crazy, and Michael Jackson walked out from backstage. Eddie clearly wasn't expecting him. Michael had secretly come out to present Eddie with an MTV honor celebrating him as one of the biggest comedians of the decade. But then the whole surprise flipped. Eddie had something waiting for Michael too. Right after Michael honored him, Eddie surprised Michael with an award of his own for Thriller. So what started with Michael catching Eddie completely off guard somehow ended with Michael getting surprised right back.
Michael Jackson, as if you didn't know. We got something for you, man. We have something that we'd like to present to Eddie, and I'll let Michael tell you the rest.
Presented to the king of comedy, Eddie Murphy, the greatest comedian of all time, the king.
But SMAP got an actual planned surprise. The group was recording their show in Japan with no idea that Michael was secretly backstage watching them perform. Then everything stopped. Beat It started playing, and Michael suddenly appeared above them. Their reactions were immediate. One member dropped to the floor while the others simply stared at him, trying to figure out if this was actually happening. For a moment, they even questioned whether it was really Michael or an impersonator. Nobody had told them he was there.
Yeah, hello? Yeah.
Hello.
It was like,
Michael Jackson?
Yes, very happy to be here. I enjoyed the performance. It was very nice.
皆さんに会えてここに来れて光栄です。How did you get here?
Oh, we drove today. We
ただ
drove
こ
to
の
see you
車でここに来ました。皆さんに会え
to surprise you.
て。皆さんを驚かせる。
Celine Dion's Michael Jackson moment had been building since she was a teenager. His posters covered her bedroom walls, and he even became part of her motivation for learning English.
I've been a big fan. I'm still a big fan of Michael Jackson. When I was like 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, I remember the ceiling of my bedroom was on an angle like this. And I remember having Michael's posters in my bedroom.
Those little Afro posters of him, I had them too. I always thought I was going to marry Jackie Jackson, actually.
Yeah? Well, I didn't go that far.
Okay, good.
As a French-speaking person, that maybe I should learn English just in case that I would be maybe on stage with him one day.
Really?
So Michael was a big influence for me to learn English language.
Yes.
Second of all, I said, if I can be in show business and sing, maybe I'll get to sing with him.
Celine used to imagine that if she learned the language and somehow became successful in music, maybe she could sing with Michael one day. At the time, that was just a teenager imagining something that seemed almost impossible. Years later, she found herself actually meeting and singing with the same person whose pictures had once covered her room.
So anyway, I went to school to learn English. I met with him. I sang with him. He came to Vegas to see my show. So the Grammys for me was a very difficult emotion because I was very honored when Ken Ehrlich asked me to be part of it. It was not a thinking of a decision for me. I was there. But at the same time, I was mad that he was no longer with us. And I wanted so much to make sure that his message that he was believing in so much, that was going to be heard. And I think all of us, we didn't really want to perform. We just wanted to carry his message. And I was very honored that I was part of it. I will always love Michael Jackson very much. And when I saw his movie, you know, at one point, whatever we see in newspaper, whatever we hear on the radio, we take some and we leave a lot. But even sometimes we take some, even us in show business. And I thought at one point that Michael was sick. And I said, you know, it's not fair to go through this, being sick like that. But when I saw the movie, I was very mad because he was on top shape. And I was very mad that he's no longer
you're
with
talking about
us.
This Is It.
Yeah.
Mary Hart had interviewed countless celebrities, but Michael Jackson left an impression unlike anyone else. She was stunned to learn that he watched her on television every night and had even asked for her to be there during the preparations for the Bad Tour. It already felt surreal before they had even met, but what surprised her most wasn't his superstar status. It was how quiet, kind, and genuinely gentle he was behind the scenes. The contrast was unforgettable. On stage, he was the biggest star in the world. In person, he was remarkably soft-spoken and shy, especially once the cameras got close, making him even more fascinating to everyone who met him.
Michael was sweet, very private, very soft-spoken.
He actually whispered something in your ear. Do you remember what it was?
He would lean over and he would whisper things into my ear. And it would be such nice things like, I'm so glad we're doing this. I'm so sorry, I'm so shy I can't talk on camera. But I love you, Mary. I'm really glad you're here.
I didn't know this, but I found out that you had a private dinner with him.
After that first concert in Kansas City, We had dinner together up in his suite, and it was just Michael and me for 2 hours. He'd flown his private chef in with him. It was an extraordinary evening. We talked about everything.
And the High School Musical cast had their own reaction after meeting Michael. The second they got backstage, everyone started talking over each other about what had just happened. They kept repeating little details because they were still trying to process the meeting. One of them couldn't stop thinking about the fact that he had actually shaken Michael's hand. Once Michael was gone, all that excitement they had been holding in finally came pouring out.
Right there, just right there. You just met Michael Jackson. You just met Michael Jackson. Can you believe that? Dude, you just met Michael Jackson.
I gotta get this. He's like freaking out.
I shook his hand. He's standing right there. I just shook his hand too? I shook his hand, yep. You shook Michael's hand. Gloveless, too. It was amazing. It was pretty cool. Was it worth the wait? I mean, it was Michael Jackson, like standing right there in front of you. How many people can say that? He was very soft-spoken. He was just, he said he's a big fan. I guess you're ahead of the game. He said, good song. And he shook my hand. I was like, wow. That's good. Wow. Stay sponsored, why help? That's pretty man.
And Whitney Houston's story revealed just how effortlessly Michael could make even the biggest stars feel special. She spoke with genuine warmth about the moment he personally chose her, as if his attention carried a significance that went far beyond an ordinary compliment. There was something sincere and almost bashful in the way she remembered it. Whitney was already one of the world's biggest stars, yet Michael still made her feel noticed, valued, and truly appreciated. It was a moment that stayed with her long after it happened.
I was asked by Michael Jackson, because he was honored last year, to sing one of his favorite songs, which was The Greatest Love. And I came here last year, and it was my first year, and I sang. And this year, earlier this year, Michael called me and told me that I was receiving it this year. So, I mean, I'm very excited about it. And I said, really? Me? He said, yeah, you.
Great.
Yeah.
Russell Crowe's Michael Jackson surprise didn't happen backstage or at an event. It happened over the phone. Somehow Michael got Russell's number and started prank calling him, even though the two weren't close. Russell would answer without knowing who was behind it until Michael eventually dropped the act with a casual, "Don't worry, Russell, it's only Michael." And these weren't complicated celebrity pranks either. According to Russell, Michael was using the kind of simple phone jokes you'd expect from a kid.
I don't know, but everyone that actually knows Michael knows he used to like to do this. It was just one of his things. But the other thing is, too, is...
Why you, though? I didn't understand that part. Why you? Why did he pick you?
I'm not sure. I have no idea. We never had any kind of deep and meaningful conversation, man. You know, it was a prank call. I'd be like, is this, you know? And he'd be like, oh, don't worry, Russell, it's only Michael. I was like... Hello, mate. How you doing? You know, and you go, oh, good. What are you doing? We have a couple of, you know, you should come and see the show or whatever. And, you know.
But would it be like a classic? Your refrigerator's running. You better go catch it.
That kind of thing.
Sir Walter Raleigh in a can. He never got past that one.
Mr. Wall there. Is Mrs. Wall's there? Rennie Wall's there. What's holding up the roof?
Then Russell revealed something that made the story much stranger. He and Michael had never actually met, yet Michael somehow kept finding out which hotel Russell was staying at, calling his room and putting on different voices. Russell didn't even tell many people because saying Michael Jackson kept randomly prank calling him sounded ridiculous. Eventually, he mentioned it to people who knew Michael and discovered that apparently this was exactly the kind of joke Michael enjoyed pulling.
Oh, he just got into the habit of wherever I was staying, he'd just call the hotel and ask for my room and put on funny voices. And I'd never met him, you know. And the thing is, the first couple of people that I said it to, I was like, I didn't want to sound like I was insane, right? Like, Michael, you know, prank called me today. You know? But when I actually started talking to people who really knew him well, they go, man, he does it all the time. You know? But it was like, yeah, it was like a thing. I used to do that when I was like 11 and 12. I used to pretend I was a radio announcer and like give people prizes.
And Michael apparently kept the prank incredibly simple. He would call Russell's hotel pretending to be management, put on a rough voice, and make it sound like there was some problem with Russell's room. He would let Russell get annoyed before suddenly revealing who was really on the phone, which means Russell Crowe somehow spent years getting surprise prank calls from Michael Jackson without ever actually meeting him face to face.
Yeah,
who did Michael Jackson pretend to be?
He would always start off being kind of gruff, like he was the hotel management and there was some kind of problem, you know?
I'd say that's less surprising than saying you're Michael Jackson.
And then if I got kind of irritated, he'd go, oh, don't worry, Rex, it's only Michael.
Did you ever meet him?
Never. No, he...
Are we sure it was Michael Jackson?
That's what I'm thinking. A double prank.
Are you sure it wasn't George Clooney? Because that's the kind of thing he does.
Is it?
It could have been George.
No, it was Michael.
If this video made you see Michael's charm in a different way, make sure to like, subscribe, and share.